Hello. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah. Ragna, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible. So, very good morning to all of you. Welcome everyone for our 5 days faculty development program on recent trends and development in the field of civil engineering. We welcome our respected expert, Dr. Vivek Manekar, sir, on behalf of Tapi Diploma Engineering College, Surat. And the presentation topic is computational fluid dynamics and overview. Sir is working as a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering and currently acting as Dean for Planning and Development at SVNIT Surat. Sir is academically associated with many institutes. Sir worked as adjunct professor at SCOE Wasim of SCBB University, Amravati. He is a member of the Academic Council of Government College of Engineering, Amravati. He is also acting as an expert member of the Academic Board of University, Vadodara. He is an active member of many government and professional bodies. Sir is working as a member of the State Technical Agency, PMGSY, Gujarat Government of India. From India, he is one of the member of the Australia-India Water Association, which is recently formed between the two governments. He has more than 32 years of experience in teaching, research, and consultancy in the field of hydraulics and water resource engineering. Sir has numerous research papers in the reputed international or national journals and conference proceedings, guided several PhD, PG dissertation and UG projects, and completed many consultancy projects and handling of externally funded research projects to his credit. Now, I request to all the participants to keep your mic and camera off during the session. If you have any questions, please type into the chat box. Now, without any further ado, I would like to give my warm welcome to Dr. Vivek Manekar, sir, and turn over the time to sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ragna, for such a nice introduction.
Welcome, sir.
Nice, yeah. So I can share the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is it visible?
No, sir, it's not visible.
I shared it.
It's visible.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So at the outset, let me congratulate Tapi Diploma Engineering College, Surat, for conducting faculty development program, which is under the scheme of Atal. And such kind of activities which are very much required and benefited to the society. And the topic chosen for this FDP, recent trends and development in the field of civil engineering,
લઈ લીધો
is
લઈ લીધો આનો લઈ લો
very much relevant and is a real-time topic. So I must congratulate the chief patron, Dr. Thakur, Dr. Chopare, the principal TDEC, and of course the ground team, the convener, Professor Maulik Zariwala, coordinators, Mrs. Ragna Zariwala, and Mr. Ravi Patel. And good morning to all dear colleagues and participants for this program. See, the theme on which this FDP is designed is rightly said the recent trends and development in the field of civil engineering. Why this is, real-time requirement to have such kind of discussions in the field of civil engineering because technology is continuously evolving day by day. And if we are not pop up with the technology, then, making the research that may left behind as compared to the development of the technologies. If I put very quickly an example of communication in the ancient age, you must be aware that when kingdoms were there, pigeon is used to have a mode of communication. Then evolution takes place in the technology. We switch over to telephones, and then we switch over to mobiles, then pagers, then various generation of the networks. And we are at the stage where we are waiting for fifth generation of the network that is awaited, that is 5G. If such technologies are evolving so fast, then how those technologies, how those techniques, how those developments we can incorporate into our research? Because ultimately, R&D is only the sector which can make the development. And development is directly related to recent technologies. And hence, the topic selected for this FDP is very relevant. You see, when we were talking about the technologies, it is not just a technology, it is the evolution of particular field also. Again, I would like to put a light on how we evolved to fluid mechanics as such, because we have to talk more on certain transport phenomena. See, if you look to the history of fluid mechanics, you will come across that in the ancient age, there was science, there was engineering, there was fluid mechanics, but that form was classical hydrodynamics. What classical hydrodynamic is? The theories, the concepts, the phenomena were developed based on theoretical backgrounds in the form of mathematical descriptions or postulates or theorems. Of course, today also we are using few of the classical hydrodynamics, and it has been then observed whatever developed in the classical hydrodynamic, when such kind of developments are there, always we are looking to apply those developments to real-time problem. And the classical hydrodynamic developed theories, theorems, postulates, when they were applied or tried to apply to the real-time problem, real-world problem, then it was observed that some of, or you can say, major part of the classical hydrodynamic theories were got failed, and they were not able to give the expected.
Hello.
Experimental observations, many kind of, you know, the relations, many kind of important, the models were developed at that time. And that sector was classified as hydraulics. Hydraulics is the branch which particularly more focusing on the you are doing experiments in the laboratory, and if you try to make them generalize, then definitely controlled environment findings and field findings and their, the estimations, it makes a lot of difference, because in the laboratory, the environment is fully controlled. You can control the flow, you can control the velocities, cross sections.
Hello, sir. Hello. Hello. Sir, am I audible? Hello. Hello. Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Sir, your voice is continuously breaking, sir.
Oh.
Not audible properly, sir.
What I can do? Okay. I will use the laptop speaker.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let me see how I can do that.
Now it's okay, sir.
Is it okay?
Now it is okay.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Sir, again your voice is not audible, sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Am I audible?
Sir, yes.
Am I
Now
audible?
you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Should I go?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please
Thank you.
continue.
Thank you. Yeah. So see, again, we are using the technology, but whatever we are experiencing are the limitations of the technology, because internet fluctuation, network fluctuation are there. So it might happen that voice get break. Okay.
Sir, not audible, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
very much restricted. Now, if we are using classical hydrodynamics or only hydraulics, the purpose not gets solved. And hence, in around 1925, when Prandtl developed a theory of boundary layer and given a thought, because that was
Hello. Hello. Sir, am I audible? Hello.
the fluid mechanics is not only associated with the liquid flows, is also associated with the gaseous flows, and moreover, not only solid or liquid form or gaseous form, but altogether, if we take an eagle eye view of fluid
Hello.
with you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes,
now I
please.
think there is some issue in network. We are not getting your
Okay.
voice properly. So, sir, please keep your video off so we can
Okay.
get the clarity of
Okay.
our
Now
audio.
is it okay?
Sir, now it's
Now
okay.
is it okay?
Yes. Now you are perfectly audible, sir.
Okay. So I was saying I purposefully chosen this topic because this is an this is the perfect development in the technology and its application, which is very limited right now in the field of civil engineering. So I thought I should explore this field, and I believe, I trust that many of you are working in CFD. So computational fluid dynamics is popularly known as CFD. So how I will go through this presentation. First, I will talk on what are the potential applications of CFD, which are the fields, and then shortly I will discuss how it is applicable. Then I will be interested to focus on 3 Ws of kind of techniques to our research problems. Then we should always start with the fundamental, and we should have an eagle eye idea about the particular research topic. So as an application of CFD to many engineering problems and real-time problems, what fundamental is involved in that, and how we can go ahead with CFD and how it is useful. That point I want to cover under the fundamentals of CFD. And of course, 2 or 3 slides I will be discussing about
how one can start with CFD. And with that intention, I would like to first, discuss with you the fields in which the CFD is applied. So if I say application of CFD, what that application and where it is applicable, very classical fields, as you know, that aerospace or automobiles or biotechnological, biomedical, chemical, electronics, fluid structure, material processing, microfluidics, sports, and whatnot. There is no limit as such for the application of CFD. Any discussion for of this CFD, it never never dare to ignore its application in the field of aerospace. You are well known about this fact that airspace, if I say an example, this is an aircraft which is appearing in this slide. And these aircraft, if you look upon broadly in two ways. One is external system of this aircraft, and another is internal system of the aircraft. So if you look upon the external system of the aircraft, what quickly we can see is scale and its shape, the geometry and the size. So if you look upon this shape, and if you want to make it more efficient externally, then what is the parameter that we can vary and make it more efficient? That is nothing but you can and if you talk about such kind of fields, this is the simulated model of aircraft. It is just simulated with the same scale. At the bottom, you can see the two scales. One is for the pressure and another is for the Mach number, because Mach number is very significant in this problem. So when the aircraft, we want to improve the efficiency, then we have to deal with the shape, the size. So while doing this, what is important to understand, because this is not a purely problem from the regular fluid mechanics, but it is just advance of that knowledge, because we require to know the emerged body which is moving in the moving field, in the moving media. And if you take advantage of this fact to model such kind of things, then we can have another, we require another insight to look upon the problem, that how the velocity profiles are around the body, how the flow is taking place around the body, what is the drag coefficient, that the flowing body is experiencing, and whether it supports in the air conditioning, the air pressure, the space, the meeting emergencies like fire. Then if you look in the cockpit, how you can design the cockpit optimally so that pilots can be with comfort and can handle various the panels and switches. And if you look more detail into inside of engine, then how will be the combustion chamber, how the that um, liquid is entering to the combustions that chamber, and how the droplets of that fuel is getting evaporated, and energy conversions, and how that energy can efficiently used to run the engines, etc., etc. So how one can do, we can model this theoretically, but again, there are so many questions, those approaches, we are going shortly to discuss on that also. So one of the problem is aerospace, that aircraft. Another problem, and without which CFD we are can't go ahead by considering aerospace problem and much comfortable we are within the cars. And every automobile company is modifying its own design of own model in such a way that efficiency of that particular vehicle get increased, mileage should get increased. At the same time, the comfort level of the passenger, that is at the topmost level, is getting much better and best. Nowadays, we have a lot of segments in the market, and comfort level, the look, the efficiency, all factors are we are getting together, and that is the perfect choice to purchase a new car. Now, how the mileage can be improved? Technically, if you see, if you have the less resistance, definitely whatever the power you are applied for your vehicle, that can be used, whatever is the input you are getting it as the output in terms of speed. But if shape is such that which resists the airflows around the body, what will happen? Whatever the speed you are maintaining, you are not getting actually, because there is a lot of resistance. So if you see this, you can see this. The same model has to be tested before launching it in the market. It has to be tested in the wind tunnel, and that test the results we have to see how much efficiency that car can produce under the controlled environment and varying, the wind velocities such that its efficiency can be improved. And after final testing, that can be taken up to the market for selling. But problem here is that if any one of the component you want to, redesign, and if your model is physical, is it possible that we can make number of trials on the physical model? That is the question associated with such kind of, analysis. Okay, we will address this issue also. So please remember these issues. Then, if we are taking an example of biomedical, how CFD is applicable? See, this is very common example of human artery. From the pumping of your heart, the blood is circulated through the arteries to various parts of the body. And while flowing this, one has to see whether in this example, nowadays laser technology in biomedical field is very common. If by chance some patient has a tumor inside some vein, and what doctor is nowadays doing is taking complete snap of that particular affected vein and pinpointedly located the tumor inside. So knowing the exact position of tumor, so instead of operating that vein, nowadays with the help of laser beam, that tumor is getting burned by the doctor, and the residuals are taken very efficiently out of the vein so that further damages should not take place. So here what is important is a laser with a definite heat has to be bombarded on the target only. Because if that beam with that heat is bombarding somewhere else which is not affected, that will get damaged. So this pinpointed, how this technique is developed, that I want to emphasize here. That technique, that study, of course, is developed because of CFD. From the reservoir, we are diverting the water. So when we are doing this, there are at least two important aspects we have to consider as a civil engineer. Is when the obstruction is to be created so as to make the pool of water behind that and can be utilized further. So when we allow to pass over the flow or the structure, then whether that structure will retain that particular discharge, or if unpredicted precipitation in the catchment, which then turn into a high flood, so will my structure remain in the field? If I want to experiment it, it will be a very lengthy procedure, because creating the field scenario in the laboratory is not only laborious, but expensive, cumbersome too. So it is not possible every time that we can experiment it. So what is the solution that we are going to discuss in this particular discussion? Two more problems I am emphasis as an application of CFD. This is very common picture in the industry. You can see a network of pipe and walls, particularly in chemical industries, or you can have such kind of such kind of situations in the industry where we require reacts with the pipe, and whether that pipe will be allowed that particular variation of the flow, which is in the form of chemical, if it is chemical industry. So reactions and velocities and all these factors at a time has to be studied. Now the question is, if we have to study multi-parameters for a system, how we can go in a laboratory? Is it possible that we can experiment it? Definitely we can experiment, but is not a simple task. Another classical example, and this is the last example that I want to quote in support of application of CFD, is the fluid surface interaction. Particularly, I choose that problem for scour around the breach pier, which is very common and very important too. See, fluid surface interaction, what I mean to say is, it is two-phase problem. If a flow field in which there is a surface or there is an object like pier and water is so that scour around the breach pier, if we are unable to estimate it before designing, then 110% that pier is not going to rest in the field, but definitely going to fail. And in literature, you can find, particularly the developed country like US, 60% of bridges were failed due to scour. There are so many critical examples which are quoted in the literature for wrong estimation of scour, and that is considered in the design, and after completion of the project, within a year, within the first season, the bridge will collapse because of scour around the bridge pier. So how we can make that before making actual implementation of the design in the field? So here there are 4 slides, small windows are shown here, which are nothing but CFD simulations which were carried out for different conditions, which in turn were not possible to perform in the laboratory. So these are the associated problems with the field. Now what to do? See, when we are talking about modeling the transport phenomena, how many ways we can go with? We can go either analytically, either experimentally, or either numerically. What the analytical modeling is, if it is possible to model a transport phenomena analytically, believe me, nothing is like that. Because analytical model giving us exact solution, which is highly required. But if not, because analytical model have some limitation, because that description is purely mathematical description, and mathematical description may be inadequate, may miss some important phenomena, may neglect some important physics hidden in the process, and that resulted into wrong predictions. So what to do? Whatever we are seeing, that is believing. So one can go with the experiment, but experimentation do have the limitations. Then what to do? Then we have to go for the numerical simulation. So quickly see, if we are going for the experimentation, either we can go with a full scale model or we can go to scale model. Broadly, we can say like this. Expensive, but often impossible to do that. Another, if we go for scale down or scale up model, what we are doing are, we are doing the more simplifications to the geometry, to the similarities. But if we are doing it scale down or scale up, the problems associated with the extrapolated results, it is very difficult. Another scale down model limitation is that, for example, I'm doing research and there is one component called as capillary tube where I'm doing my experiments, and now as the capillary tube is very of small diameter of the tune of 6 mm or less, and then observing the velocities, flow fields, how the two fluids are mixing or emission of gases, any example I would like to experiment, then it is very difficult to perform the experiment and take the observations in that small tube. So I decided to model it as an upscaled model, and instead of that small diameter of tube, I consider a pipe. Geometrically, it fits to the situation, but does the physics simplifications in the model may lead to missing of important factors as well as the core part of the physics of the phenomena. So one must be very careful while experimenting. And under all situations, experimental modeling is not possible. I'll discuss that point also. And if you see, for any experimental model, there are involvement of errors associated with the measurement. It is damn sure what sophisticated instrument you are using for measurement, but prepared for carrying the errors in the results in the outputs. That is the inherent part of the experimental studies. So how we can go, as I said, analytical model is exist only for few cases. Those are of simple geometry. It is not universally applicable to any kind of problem. So the analytical solutions are not exist in general. And if you try to make it, is it not possible that we can model it analytically? Answer is yes, we can do it. But in the latter stage, you will end up with complicated set of equations for which finding out solution So for that, there is a solution available that is known as numerical models. Numerical models. See, numerical modeling is possible for all sort of problems. Whatever may be the complication in the transport phenomena, you can easily made the modeling and can get good results. But two things we have to sacrifice with the numerical model. One sacrifice is the continuous solution. We are not getting the continuous solution. We are getting discrete solution. And another limitation of numerical model is, that discrete solution, you must be perfect in handling the governing equations, because that is the core part of CFD. If you know the governing equations of the transport phenomena, which in turn you are discretizing those to find out the approximate solution. So second limitation of numerical model is approximate solution. As in the case of analytical models, we are getting the exact solution, but we have to sacrifice it in terms of numerical solution. So we are not getting continuous solution, we are not getting exact solution, rather we are getting approximate solution and discrete kind of solution. Now, if we compare modeling versus experimentation, as you know, analytical model deals with mathematical description, and that may be away from the reality, and that description might be inadequate to make the simple form of models. So we have to assume many things and we have to neglect many things while we are going for analytical modelings. And observation with the experimental model is that if the systems where it is not possible to take the observations are not transparent systems. For example, quickly I can say, if you are taking the steel furnace where molting iron or steel is poured into that, and from top or bottom there is mixing of oxygen and some alloys if we are making. So another metal, molten metal, which is both are in very high temperature condition, that furnace is handling that. And there, if you want to model that phenomena, it is very beautiful if you get a chance to see that. So if you want to model that, so what require is to know the velocities, to know the flows, but how one can measure that? Temperature is too high, and the furnace walls are not transparent. So phenomena you can't see, measurements you are unable to take. So how we can do it? So under such problems, one cannot select experimentation as a kind of model. So what remains, ultimately, we can't go with analytical solutions. We can't go with the experimental models. So what remains is numerical. And this numerical is well, associated with the approximate and graded solution. That is the discrete solution. How one can get it? By taking the help of high computing, devices like digital computers, and a set of simultaneous equations have to be solved. So that matrix of equations, when it is totally wrong, because if you are only going for numerical solution or CFD solutions, whatever the solution you are getting, how will you verify it? For that, what we require is the experimental results. We require the results. Something must be known beforehand, because we want to validate the results of numerical model. Once the part of numerical solution is validated, further you can extend it with the confidence that up to this stage results were matching. So it is very much confident that whatever the numerical model is predicting can be adopted in general. So study of CFD not makes up to go away from the experimentation, but makes us to go with better experimentation. So that misconception, please remove if you have. Now, I would like to focus how actually we can go for CFD. So till now, we got the background of what is CFD, why CFD, and when energy. And for that, if I take quickly a view that, let me select a pen. See, what conservation of mass, momentum, and energy, what this principle is saying about. A very classical and appealing example I am going to give here. If you have a bank account, everybody have. So whatever the money you are depositing in the bank account, and at some moment of time, if you are withdrawing the money, so whatever the amount you have deposited, and if you have taken out some amount, let me write in the form of expression, in minus out. So if in minus out, if you are taking some money out, then also there is some amount of money which is of every conservation. How it is? Just we are doing the rate of change of in minus out plus generation, that gives you the rate of change in the system, that is in the bank account. So if you apply this for the mass, for example, this is your system, the mass in, the mass out, where there is any accumulation. So you can write the conservation of mass, like momentum, like energy. So whatever may be the conservation principles, you can apply the same thing and you can understand how the fundamental of governing equations, from where they were generated. So this principle is very, very simple to understand. You must be knowing about the system and surrounding, which is known to you. For example, this is a space, and if I circle it, and I'm observing the properties within this. So this system where in and out of mass and energy is possible, isolated, neither mass nor energy. So it is just an isolation. So that system is not used in the engineering. So closed or open system. Based on this closed and open, there are two important, the classes of theories. One is Lagrangian theory, another is Eulerian theory. As far as the fluid mechanics is concerned, we are well associated with the Eulerian theory because we use this open system. This is also known as control volume system. Closed system is known as control surface system. See, the control volume system, not control surface, this is system, closed system, and this is control volume system. So this control volume system, how the Eulerian approach is there, that whatever the inflow, whatever is the outflow from the control volume, so all the properties are to be observed within the control volume. And believe me, before control volume, before Eulerian approach, all including Newton's law of motion is pertaining to Lagrangian system, where E closed system, how we can use for the closed system. So there is Reynolds transport theorem. This theorem, let me see the time. Okay, we have half an hour. I can go quickly through Reynolds transport theorem, which takes care of conversion of system to control volume. So if I take this, I will show you the theorem. See, this is the Reynolds transport theorem, which says about extensive property of the system. What that extensive, because every material has two properties. Let me go quickly. One is the intensive property and extensive property. What intensive property is? It is the physical property of a system that does not depends upon the amount of material in the system. What are the examples? Like temperature, like density, hardness, refractive index are the example of intensive property. Opposite to this is a extensive property, and capital B is representing extensive property. What that extensive property is? It is completely proportional to the amount of material in the system. How you can give the example like mass of a system. So what is the relation between extensive and intensive property? Intensive property is denoted by small b, is nothing but dB by dm. What this dm is? This dm is given as rho into dV, that is volume into density. So if you take dB, what you will get is B, rho, and dV. So this B, when you integrate it, it will go like this. So B, small b, rho dV. So in every expression, you can see B, rho dV. What it represent? It represent the extensive property. So here, the rate of change of this extensive property, this is nothing but the rate of change of extensive property in the control volume, because this represents the extensive property as a whole and across the surface. As it is shown here, which consists of the system and the control volume, which are exactly coinciding when system is at point T, overlapping. We are considering this as a flow field, which represent by X, Y, Z, and T. When at some increment of time, delta T, the system moves from one place to other. So here, this system represents at the time T plus delta T. So if I say system is at time T, there are two regions, 1 and 2. But if I say system is at T plus delta T, it represents 2 and region 3. So taking advantage of that, if mathematically we try to represent that in considering the limit equations, so rate of change of this is total rate of change this T plus delta T represent? T plus delta T represents region 2 and region 3. What this T represent? This T represent region 1 and region 2. So with this, if we take separate out that B system at T plus delta T is region 2 and region 3. So what is region 2 is extension, that is integration B rho dV, because this B system at T plus delta T can be written like this, and this is for volume 2 and this is for volume 3, representing 2 and 3, and this minus B system at T, so this T represents region 1 and region 2, so volume 1 and volume 2. So if we separate out the limit equations, we get the 3 terms out of this. Which are they? This is volume 2 for T plus delta T, and this is also volume 2 for T plus for T. So let us take this present that volume 2 for T plus delta T and volume 2 for T. So it represents a integral, that is rate of change of extensive property. And what this volume 2 represent? Quickly we can go to figure. This volume 2 represent, because what actually happened at time T, both are coinciding. At delta time T, system moves away. So while system moves, what it allows to enter into the region 2, and region 2 material allows to enter to region 3. So this becomes a control volume. So this becomes a control volume. And that's why we are observing the extensive properties within control volume. And here we can say that for region 2, the limiting expression can be turned up to del by del T integral B rho dV by over CV, that is control volume. And what term 2 and 3 for control volume, I mean for the region 1 and for the region 3, it is nothing but flux of the material, and that flux of the material is represented here, and that is denoted by B rho vector V, the normal vector N dA, because any control surface, if you are considering any area, I should not go in detail of mathematics, that dA, and if it represents the velocity V, so this is normal vector N. So if you take how discharge can be measured, V dA and normal vector N. So this represents that. So B rho, and this is the volume per unit time. So you can have for the flux of the control surfaces. So control surface 1 and control surface 3, as you'll seen in the figure. So finally, we can convert the system approach to control volume approach, and this is very important theorem given by Reynolds. So it is known as Reynolds transport theorem. Reynolds transport theorem. So we can we can convert the system approach to control or Eulerian, and if your governing equations are pertaining to Lagrangian approach, then we need to convert that into control volume. And for that, we use the Reynolds transport theorem. Well, so what we just discussed is about the background of the governing equation. Once a governing equation of the transport phenomena is known, and from there the CFD starts. So initially we have to see the governing equation of the transport phenomena. That governing equation we need to discretize. Why we need to discretize? I will go through a simple example so that you can understand how governing equation can be discretized. There are approximation methods available. You can either go with finite difference method or finite volume method or finite element method, which you can make the appropriate approximations of, because if you look upon the governing equation, they are of the nature of partial differential equation, and that too high order partial differential equation. And you must appreciate this, if the partial differential equation is of higher order, we cannot go directly for analytical solutions. It doesn't exist for that. So we have to make the approximation all unknown points of the system, then you are getting a point solution or a large number of points as you are taking. So meshing part is very, very, significant in case of CFD. When you go in detail of CFD, you can understand that how meshing is very much important. Of course, conversion is based on the coordinate system which you are using, maybe a Cartesian, cylindrical, spherical, whatever it may be. Then we have to go for numerical grids which are of structure unstructured type. And then for that, you require to find out a solution. And for that solution, there are inbuilt flows, unsteady flow or steady flow. Unsteady means time is varying, and if with respect to time the properties are varying, then you have to go with marching in time. And if steady means t is constant, so pseudo time marching or iteration scheme can be applied there. And another important aspect in the CFD solution is convergence. So one must see the conversion criteria very, seriously. It is of two levels. One is inner iteration, outer iterations. It may be inner iterations are linear. See, if I take a problem of steady flow in a rectangular domain which is fully developed and representing a laminar flow. So what I mean to say is, just you consider a rectangular domain which I draw here, and this is infinite length. If I draw this infinite length, flow is taking place. I consider this as X, this as Y, this as Z, wherein U, V, and W representing the velocities in the appropriate coordinate. So when we are saying that flow is taking place in Z, it means that U, V are 0 and W is a function of X and Y. Whereas it is not dependent on Z and T. T is a time because we consider a steady flow which is fully developed. Now what we want is W is a function of X and Y. So we want solution for this. So what is the governing equation of such kind of flow which is instead of showing that negative here, I said this is minus C. It absorbs the negative sign of dP by dz. Why minus? Because pressure is inversely varying with respect to Z, and that's why it is minus. From where this governing equation come, I don't want to enter into that region. But if we have the governing equation of this phenomena, which is representing a steady flow in a rectangular domain and which is fully developed, so we want the solution for this problem. So we know the very first thing as a governing equation, which is in the form of partial differential equation of higher order or second order. And if you look the solution of partial differential equation, it means that we want to apply the boundary conditions. The boundary conditions to be applied is, because this is partial differential equation, so for its solution we have to apply the boundary condition. And here time is not varying, so initial boundary conditions we doesn't require. So what we that W is a function of Xi and YZ. Now, for this, we require to approximate the partially differentiated terms at dou 2 W by dou X square, and we want partial, dou 2 W by dou Y square approximation. So that approximation with the standard methods, as we discussed earlier, dou 2 W by dou X square can be written as W I plus 1 comma J minus 2 times Wij plus Wi minus 1J. Because if I take quickly a grid here, so if your point is here, which represents I, this represents I, and this, what we require is I plus 1 represent this point, I minus 1 represent this point. So we can make an approximation with respect to this point, which can be written like this by delta X square. And what is dou 2y by dou Y square approximation? variation. Instead of y, it becomes t, because y representing the time scale. Well, so if we put the same approximation into our governing equation, we replace those terms, and this is new constant C1, because mu has to be taken care of here, and dou p by dou z also. And if we rearrange the terms by taking 1 by x square as a constant, and we separate out the terms and taking this form of equation, which in turn represent this as a coefficient, this as a term in terms of W, and this C we can see as another term as B, because we want to generalize. I want to demonstrate how partial differential equation with discretization can be converted to algebraic equation. That is what my intention is. So we got the algebraic equation at a point ij, and that form is summation of a comma j I minus I comma j wij, that is bi. I can give you an insight of application of CFD to a simple problem that you know the governing equation, you apply the approximation, and then you can set it to the point of desire on the grid to find out the algebraic equation, and then solving them. So there is a high order matrix of number of these algebraic equations together, and that makes you to get the solution. Yeah. Then let me finish. I am at the last point of discussion. So here, if we are able to convert those into the algebraic equations, and for that we require high computing computers, which in turn giving us a solution. So as a roadmap, how we go for CFD models or numerical models? Very first thing is specify the problem. We have to understand the physics and the transport phenomena of the problem. Then we have to select the appropriate governing equations of the phenomena. Then we need to select, if you are going for CFD, then you need to select the appropriate turbulence model. There are 7 models available there. You can go through the theory, you can get it. I will not is called as solver, and whatever the results you are getting, so interpretation of result is post-processing part. So this is the algorithm how one can go with the CFD. Of course, you need to learn more things about it. There are 6 steps. Geometry, you have to select the geometry. Physics, you have to very correctly opt it. You have to opt the physics of that particular governing phenomena. Then mesh, you have to go for structure unstructured. Then we need to solve it by taking appropriate systems into consideration. Then we can generate the reports, and that reports have to be then verified and to be interpreted later on. So this is the algorithm how one can go with CFD. As we have less time to describe all this. So this is the roadmap. And quickly, if you are going for the algorithms which are available, codes available, whether it is commercial or research code, even in public domain also you can find the CFD codes and mesh codes as GitGen and Gambit. These are the grid codes. GIS, sediment transport, microfluidics, water and wastewater. So all these are the emerging fields in which you can make the use of CFD. And this is the recommended literature. If you are further interested in going for CFD, you can go through these books. And here I would like to stop my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I request to all the participants, if you have any question, then write in chat box so we can ask to our expert. I think there are no questions, sir. So we conclude our session. Really, sir, it is a privilege for us. We are grateful for your time to share your thoughts and experience with us. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful and informative session. It was a pleasure to hear you. Very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your great assistance. We appreciate your great effort. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Dr. Manekar, sir, for giving an excellent coverage to computational fluid dynamics. Sir, will you share your presentation with us? Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Sir, will you share your presentation with us so that we can share it with our participants?
Participant want the presentation.
Yes, sir. Some participants
Okay.
are asking about your presentation, sir. So
Okay.
would you like to share
So,
with
okay,
us, sir?
it can be. It can be, and I hope you have recorded this, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have recorded all these sessions.
Yeah, please.
Okay, sir. Now all the participants can take a break for 30 minutes and we will meet up again at 12 p.m. for the second session of the day. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with you all. And I'm going through your chat messages. I think connectivity was poor.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes,
there
sir.
were a few, throughout the presentation, it was so.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Continuously your voice was breaking.
Voice quality.
Yes, sir. Due to poor connection, sir.
Okay, anyway. Should I leave the meeting now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.